All right, I think it's working. It says I got a good connection. Looks like it's there. If I turn this on. I think it's working. All right, cool. I have audio. Welcome to Vlog Thursday. Uh, this stream is being done from quarantine. That is how we're going to start this one out. Yes, I am under quarantine for the most popular reason for people to be under quarantine for 2020. Whoop, just spilled a little bit of tea. Got plenty of tea though. Is it gonna focus? That's probably too close to focus. Anyways, I got my new cup here. Yes, I had the wonderful thing we will not say on YouTube for 2020 because demonetization and all the issues that may come with it. But this is also why I haven't been at my office making videos. I did grab a couple things so I could stream something from here in my house, and I'm staying quarantined for 10 days. I had a very mild case, for those of you wondering. Some people follow me on other social media where I had posted this, and yeah, I basically I had a minor cough, I had a fever, and I slept for 2.5 days, and that's now I'm back to feeling fine, but I have 10 days of quarantine. My wife has it as well, so we're just going to stay locked in the house for 10 days. And I might produce some content now that I'm finally getting around to being over it. But I figure that'll cover all the personal issues that I really have related to it. Other than that, things are going well. And hey, why not take a couple days off, which is pretty rare for me because I have a very, very hard time taking time off, not because I can't, but because I don't like to. That comes up a lot. So the work-life balance thing is really, really hard because I don't like to. Yeah, so. Let's see. Oh, someone says nice quality. It's a different look doing it here in my house. This is also a new camera I bought. So there's a couple things going on. Now, my other studio camera works really well. This one works really well. This is a new Sony camera that I had to get things set up. I've been trying it out, and the first time not the first time I've done a live stream with it. I've used it in my office, but the biggest difference is it's really, really bright in here, and I'll spin you around. Like, look at all these windows. And then on the other side here, this is my kitchen. So yeah, I'm just chilling in the kitchen here. And then this is the setup I got. There's my everything I got going on, and then back to here. And then there's my TV setup. So it is a very different setup, obviously. I don't know, maybe I should do more stuff from home. I'm not sure. The audio quality should be decent. This is all some new stuff I bought though too. It's like I like gadgets occasionally. But I'm definitely feeling a lot better. It was, well, it's not good to deal with the the thing of 2020, we'll just call it. Someone says never felt bad enough to stop the yard work. Yeah. Yeah, the audio was I messed with all morning, and I'm like, this actually turns out better than I thought. I'm using these little things made by Sarmonic, and I've used them before, and I kind of forgot I had them. I don't really forget I have them. I'm just not used to using wireless mics. And I've actually shot some video using a lapel mic, and I screwed it all up. And I was aggravated because I screwed it up with the lapel mic. I kept bumping it, and I didn't feel like trying to edit out all the times I bumped my lapel mic. So there's good and bad about using a lapel mic. They're not my favorite, but they get the job done. I prefer a mic that's not attached to me. That way when I'm animated and moving around, it doesn't cause problems. Also of note is this. I can wander around my house and the audio won't change. That's one advantage of the lapel mic. I'm not beholden to a spot because I can move around. That novel stuff. Anyways, it's not what you guys are here to talk about. That's me just being excited about all the things I had, the gadgets and stuff. I'm very hesitant to buy gadgets. It's one of the things I tell people when they get into tech or any of the streaming tech. If you're a tech in general and you like gadgets and you jump into a new thing such as streaming, you tend to buy as many things as you can afford, which sometimes for people that's a lot of things. I actually restrained a lot from this. I'm very careful about gadget buying because the process is learn the craft you want. So the craft was, how do I teach people more about technology, not about how much gear I buy. So I was very slow to buy gear. That way I didn't buy things I didn't need. Figure out what is the best teaching methods and then what tools help me with that. So you have to do the teaching first or figure out your teaching style if that's what your goal is. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense of why I'm slow to buy gadgets on there. But my overall, this setup, it does work pretty well. This camera's, yeah, it's definitely, it was a couple $1,000s, but I'm going to say it was worth it. It's the Sony, I forgot what model it is, A something 8600. I'm not sure. Okay. Unless you have an office at home, don't do that. I've read somewhere it says it clearly marked area for work and leisure activities. I do have an office at home, so it's a mix. It's not like I usually at home is where I don't work as much. So I have an office at home, but I mostly reply to emails more than anything else. That's my A6600 or 6800. It's one of those. I seen someone post in there. So it's kind of a mix between where I actually do my work from. Email is one of those things I do a lot of, and so I don't really have any type. I don't have a type of delineation of when I stop working when it comes to email, because I'm just replying to emails and things like that all the time. But while I have been home for the last couple of days, you know, the hard thing is between some level of exhaustion, I've had trouble focusing, so I didn't get as many projects done as I wanted, but hey, whatever. Why is there an oximeter in the thumbnail? That is among the things we got when I tested positive. We right away got an oximeter to test your levels of oxygen, and it was because you know, you've got to make sure your blood oxygen levels are good, and they have stayed perfectly high the whole time. I hate actually getting over all this. I've had if you listen to 7 days ago, I was coughing a little bit in that particular vlog Thursday. That's the worst my cough ever got, was actually that Thursday. And then I was diagnosed positive the next day, which was Christmas. So, the TV looks small. Yes, a 70-inch TV does not look particularly big back there, does it? It's the size of this room does make that look small. We've talked about getting a bigger one because I brought this TV from my old house. And yeah, a 70-inch TV just feels inadequate here. There's no doubt. Are UniFi APs okay for home? I would say yes, but someone had a good point, and the problem becomes they may not want to update them a lot. So that's someone I was complaining they didn't want to deal with the technology around UniFi, like running a controller and things like that. And that's a fair assessment. Like, if you don't want to deal with anything, a consumer product may be better for you in terms of you just want connectivity and never have to think about the device. But I don't review those, and that's one of the things that people ask me a lot is like, well, which one's the best one? I don't really care much for any of the consumer ones, but I also don't know a lot about them, so I'm not the best person to review those particular devices. I know Google makes their home Wi-Fi devices, for example. There's the Orbeez and things like that. So it's kind of, it's not an easy answer. Like, if you don't like any of the other technology, dealing with any of the technology, you just want it to work, definitely not UniFi. But I don't know what else to recommend to you. Someone asked about how do you deal with passwords in AD. I don't understand maybe the question. Have you had to deal with clients who have 80 passwords that change regularly? Okay. Yeah, but nothing we can do. I want to scroll back a little bit though. William Daughtery, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for a donation. It is greatly appreciated. Hopefully you're having a Happy New Year's Eve as well. Sriracha sauce mug, yes. What else? Sorry, now I can catch back up. Do I like Linux at home? Yes, I'm running Linux right now. The only time I don't run Linux is on my gaming computer because games and Linux, and I don't feel like I don't have the same reason that someone may not want to deal with the details of Someone would want to deal with not want to deal with the deals. UniFi is the same reason I don't want to deal with a Linux gaming system. I prefer a gaming system that just works because I don't want to spend time figuring out why my game isn't working. I just want to, if I want to play a game, I play a game. So I do have a Windows computer for gaming. But other than that, yeah. I have at home here, I have at home a couple UniFi long range, and I have a UniFi in-wall for my home office. So future hacking videos, yeah, maybe. I've done a lot of videos around like the tooling you may use for some of the hacking stuff. The problem with the hacking videos is they have to be on a separate channel because YouTube's policies on them change dynamically and are not universally applied. So they're difficult to do. So I'm not sure where to put the hacking videos if I did more of them, or more in-depth hacking videos, I should say. So all right, there we go. Had to reply to someone. But yeah, so I don't necessarily want to do too many of them on YouTube. There's been too many people that YouTube just bans the channel, and they ban everything on your channel when that happens. So it's not really worth it. So yeah. Yes, there are other websites you could put them on. So that's definitely a thing. UniFi at home does work great for me. Also, my UniFi is under the floor. While I'm here at home, I'll probably do a video on my home setup, which is really, really basic. I just need internet at home. That I don't need much. The internet at home, though, one of the things that people don't realize is you don't need to mount it on a ceiling. I don't want anything on my ceiling. I decided and put it under. I have a basement, so I put it underneath. So the UniFi access point is somewhere between the stereo system and the coffee table. It's positioned right there, and it's in the joists, between the joists. It's actually mounted facing up, so it brings the internet to the upstairs here, and it works perfectly fine. We have an excellent signal. I'm going to do a video about that because a lot of people think you can't cover it at all. Yeah, you're going to lose. Anytime there's anything in between, it will degrade the signal, but is the signal good enough for what you need it for is the real question. Are you trying to get the most optimal signal, or do you want good enough to get done what you need to get done? Let's see. Just wrap happening around the blue shirt and it'll be all good. Yeah. Let's see. I like the StarTech racks. For those of you looking for racks, I've done videos on them. The StarTech ones are good. And there's another, if you just type in racks on my channel, I've reviewed both of them and both of them are perfectly fine. It's StarTech and the other name eludes me at the moment, but yeah. Both of them have not been a problem for me. Xavier's been busy, so there's been no how they got hacked videos. So do 10 gig SFP. So the 10 gig SFP video, as soon as I can get back to the office, that's what's being in quarantine is why I'm not getting that video done. It's all sitting there, and everyone at work's getting tested, and until everyone has the all clear, we're keeping the office, we're keeping people at the office. Everyone who's tested did not had a problem. So anyways. So someone, if you're a fan of Pop! OS, have you tried Mint Cinnamon? I don't have any reason to use Linux Mint. Like, Linux Mint's neat, but I don't have, there's nothing compelling about it. Matter of fact, the compelling reason not to use it is, I don't know if they've solved this problem, but when there's new versions, the in-place upgrades were always problematic on it. So I don't know if that's still the true. But I know for a while they didn't even have an in-place upgrade proper way to do it. There was some hacky way to do it, and so Pop OS, it just carries over from version to version, and it just works so good. I just have no reason not to try another one. SolarWinds at home. Yeah, I'm not a big SolarWinds Orion user in general, so it doesn't really affect me. Oh yes, Xavier's cert meltdown. Yes, for any of you who want to follow what Xavier's got going on in life, head over to Twitter. He's melting down. Yes, he's. I think he's a little calmer now, but yes, there was some incidents with some testing. Yeah, the business use case shirts is something we've been wanting to make. Maybe I'll sit down and design some shirts. I'm not making videos. I'm still working because we've had a lot of things going on, and so many of our things are delivered remotely. So like, I have a quote that I have to finish that I'll probably work on today for another movie studio that needs some servers. This is a pretty big quote. This particular studio is looking around just under $500,000 worth of TrueNAS servers. So that stuff I'm still doing and stuff like that. So I can't really say I have that much free time. There's still been lots of stuff to do. But maybe I will find time to do a few other things. Do you use Untangle Firewall at home? I have, mostly for demo purposes, because I don't care as much about the filtering. I don't use it as much during my daily rituals of use. I like Untangle. We deploy it at clients when they need extra filtering and all these other things that Untangle does. I've done the comparison video. It's a good product. It is a paid product, but I think a lot of people, especially when they go, I need to have all this filtering, I just keep pushing them towards Untangle when they want all the filtering and the pretty dashboards. If you don't need filtering and pretty dashboards, then you don't really need Untangle. Is Mint the one that with the retro version of GNOME? I don't remember. My friend Tony loves Mint. That's his favorite go-to is Linux Mint. Oh, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so point releases on the update manager, but updates based on new LTS version require fresh install. Well, that's what I remember about it. I didn't think that was a resolved issue. I still use pfSense at home. So pfSense is still my go-to firewall for, it's my favorite network engineering firewall. Like I do a lot of things with it for what I need to get done at home, when you have to have VPNs for things, when you have to play around with things. It's just kind of a solid, reliable, gets the job done type firewall. Any experience with UMA phone service? Nope, never used it. Do I have a good solution for log audits? I've tried different things, including just running my own syslog server, but I don't love anything, but probably the best log system is Graylog. Graylog is probably the go-to for just a good logging server with good indexing. I haven't done a demo on any of them because I don't love any of them enough that I would say, this is amazing. You're going to be so blown away with how much you'll love this product, because I never truly loved the product. And like Graylog, I found complex to set up a little bit. Now, from the whole problem with Graylog, for example, is figuring out and getting it to parse, in log ingestion is easy, but parsing all the logs, that's not as easy. Now, what it does do, because it has Elasticsearch, it at least indexes the data really well. And if you just need something to build an index of data, which mostly, here's the thing, this is where I disagree with most of the home lab. Not really disagree with them. I'm not in line with the home lab. It's not a disagreement. I don't care if people do it. I don't tell them not to. That would be a disagreement. I just don't care about doing it. Is someone pointed out Grafana, and that's what I was waiting for. was people really love dashboards. Dashboards don't help me solve problems very often. Most of my problem solving comes from reading details and log files. Now, this is where Graylog is good, because if I have a detail I need to find and I take and dump, for example, Graylog will ingest logs from syslog or lots of other sources. But if you take all your UniFi devices, for example, and you set up syslog on them and push them all to Graylog, you can then get really detailed data from all of your UniFi devices simultaneously, like every individual device. And when they're pushing all the log data directly to each of the where all of them are pushing to one central log server, and you have something like a MAC address of a device and you're trying to trace where that device does or doesn't connect, you can start using something like Graylog to parse that very quickly, because it's indexing all that data. You search for the MAC address, it runs through the indexes, and let's say you had 20 access points and you have 20 access points worth of data consolidated into the Graylog server. Now you can start drilling down where the problem is. And a graph may or may not help. I mean, I guess if you had a graph and then you knew what error log and you created a graph based on that error log, okay, now you've created a graph on an error log and you can try to watch when it reaches a threshold. Or if you're like me, you just look for accounts to equal greater than a threshold to set alerts. And then it's a problem. I don't need to look at a pretty dashboard for that. So, I mean, play with it all you want. People really get excited about the dashboard thing because it's something, once you get the dashboard built, you have to go share it in our home lab and get upvoted. So over on Reddit. I've thought about doing some OpenVAS videos. OpenVAS in general, the problem can be the false positives. So that's where I can do the video for some of the assessment side of OpenVAS, but then I have to do the how to deal with all the false positives and why you can't just use a tool like OpenVAS. And that's actually the problem. Any of the free tools out there, they really do kick off a lot of false positives for doing assessment work. And that's where you have to land your skill. So yeah, I am doing another follow-up video on SolarWinds. I'm going to do a recap because I don't think there's not really that much more information coming out about SolarWinds. And I just need to do the what happened, who got affected, the two different vectors that were found, and kind of a recap of it. And the reality is their stock's already bouncing back. Everyone's like, this is the end. And I'm like, ha ha, that's what everyone says all the time. I was laughing at all the people that said, this is the end of that company. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is a news blip until the next news blip. What is important though, and what I'm hoping only slightly will come out of this, it's still not enough to get the markets to shift. And I even laughed in Reddit. Some people were like, remove SolarWinds Orion. And then you go over and see people in Reddit going, yeah, my boss came in and said, remove it. And then we told them what it does. And they said, reinstall it. That was because there's not another solution that works as well as Orion. That's where we are in the market. Yeah, anyways. Oh. Have you made investments in home automation? Nope, I don't do home automation. I've never cared about my light switches being able to turn them on and off with things. I mean, I manually will have to turn these lights on and off. It's a old school mentality of me. I mean, I know I could program those light switches and build automation to turn them on and off. But it really hasn't been the drive. So that's my thoughts on home automation. Not everything needs to be automated. Sometimes you're just looking for something to do, which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying not to do it. I'm just saying I'm not going to do it. Lots of hacking vids and anti-hacking video security, vulnerability detection, and remediation. Yeah, SolarWinds is renaming to enable. Yep, they are. Will I do a video on Wi-Fi 6? Eventually. Chris did a video on it, and I know the video will get a lot of views. My problem with Wi-Fi 6 is use case. And even Chris pointed out all the trouble he had getting set up to make sure everything connected at Wi-Fi 6. It's also not twice as fast. It's faster, but it's not twice as fast. So if you want speed, then you need to hardline things. It's as simple as that. The Sangoma breach. Yes, I'm aware of the Sangoma breach. It was interesting. I knew about it even before Chris did the video because of the circles of people that I know. We seen it. We found the files. That's a different story, though. We knew about it before. It was pretty clear over on Hacker News when it happened. That's where I first seen it. It was on Hacker News, and then it was also a forum discussion inside of Sangoma before Chris did his video. Yeah, Linus did a 100 gig video. I seen that. Let's see. Wi-Fi 6 for malls and stadiums. Mostly the biggest thing you need is density. So just get a more dense system. You know, yeah. Different issues. I don't know. Like I said, it comes on to use case with Wi-Fi. I didn't, until I moved into this house this year, I never bothered with anything other than 2.4 at my old house because I didn't care. It doesn't matter. The only thing I needed to do is be connected. That's it. It doesn't need fast. I'm not trying to get, hyper speeds here between the, phone or whatever. It's just, I need connectivity. I need my laptop to work. Oh, look, I'm streaming on probably a 2.4 connection. Does it matter if I have 5? So I don't know. I'm not as excited about Wi-Fi. Yeah, and that's exactly it. How many people really need more than what 802.1n offers? Matter of fact, with the problems, a lot of the problems people have is connectivity issues, latency issues, drops and disconnects. Wi-Fi 6 barely solves those any better than the other ones did. Wi-Fi is a radio signal. As soon as you start converting your connectivity to radio signal, you increase the amount of problems you have. This is why everyone will recommend that until further notice, you should always hardwire your critical infrastructure, your high-powered systems, and you should hardwire your gaming system. It's kind of as simple as that. Oh, let's see. Thoughts on pfSense on different hardware with the amount of 10 gig NICs? I don't know. I don't really have thoughts on it. If you have a 10 gig connection, awesome. Get a 10 gig connection. I don't, let's see. Yeah, if you're buying it today, buy Wi-Fi 6. If you have nothing, buy something new. If you have something already and you just want to spend money, feel free to do so. I always, like I said, start a lot with use case. That's the biggest one. Starting with WireGuard server, did you do no port forward? No, WireGuard needs to talk. So you have to have something publicly accessible. At least one end of the WireGuard needs to be publicly accessible. So you would initiate from the, if you have a server in DigitalOcean, which is what I used for my example in my WireGuard video, you're going to have to make sure something's publicly exposed. So if you have two things behind that, no, WireGuard doesn't solve that problem for you. What do you think about power line adapters? I've never tested them. I know people use them. People complain that they're slow. That's all I know. I don't know how fast they are. I don't know if they live up to the claims of speed. I know they're not great, is what I keep being told by people. But I don't have any intention of reviewing them either. Recommendations for UPS? Eaton. Eaton makes really nice UPS equipment. Buy used gear early from the early adopters. Yep. Yeah, if you're looking to save on money, for sure. How do I know how to exactly align radios? Point point them as direct at each other as they can, open up the utility in P2P, and that's how you align them. They help you align. They'll tell you percentages. You just got to get a person on each end and point them at each other. Steve Gibson wrote Squirrel. The problem with the Steve Gibson Squirrel is not that the protocol is flawed, but the people are flawed, and getting people to adopt a single standard is freaking hard. And we'll just go outright say impossible sometimes. So that's where most of that issue is. It's just, yeah. Getting people to adopt it. It seems great. I like everything about it, except the fact that people don't want to adopt it. It'll be slow. You're not sure if I don't think FreeNAS supports Squirrel, if I'm following what you're asking. Let's see. Lenny on free PBX is definitely awesome. Happy New Year. Thank you. You are my YouTube mentor. Who's yours? I don't watch as much YouTube. Well, I do, but I don't watch much tech. I'm not regurgitating knowledge I learned on YouTube. I read books more than anything else. So I read books, and if I read that book, or not even books anymore as much as I read manuals and technical documentation, and that's where most of the knowledge I have comes from. So after I've read through a lot of that, I then make a video on it. Like WireGuard, I read through all the documentation, RTFM, and after I read all the WireGuard stuff, I'm like, oh, I'll make a video on it. So I don't necessarily have, but I do cite my sources. So for any particular video, if I referenced where the source material is, which I pretty much always do. If there was a specific source of material for that knowledge, I reference it. And so I don't really have a specific person, but back to that topic, there are people in tech I really like that I do read some of what they write. Wendell from Level 1 Techs is probably one of the most knowledgeable people I know on ZFS and storage systems. He knows a lot of other things too, but I've always been researching stuff he's put out there when it comes to storage tech. Man, Wendell has really dove deep on a couple topics. And there's a collection of links of other people who are engineers at FreeNAS, TrueNAS, IX Systems, and other related people working on the ZFS project. And my posts about ZFS performance, I link to all the sources I have. So those people are pretty amazing in the overall wealth of knowledge they offer. But I don't really watch a ton of other YouTubers. Like I watch some, but most of the YouTube stuff I do consume is much like AVE Blog. He's my engineering hero. He's just entertaining to watch. Let's see, what are your oh yeah, people adopt, it'll be 2077 before someone adopts IPv6. You're probably right. Yeah, for WireGuard you need at least one publicly accessible IP address. And I mean, a port forward, it doesn't have to run on an IP address. You can port forward for it as well. Oh, what else do we have? Scotty in Trouble with Tribbles. Yes, I'm still a Star Trek fan. Beyond forums, docs, and GitHub. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on Reddit reading. LTU devices? Probably not. Oh, what's up with the pulse oximeter in there? For those of you that are just joining, I'm in quarantine right now, so I was using a pulse oximeter to confirm that I have plenty of oxygen in my blood. I'm over the reason I'm in quarantine, but I'm still in quarantine. Yeah, Reddit's nice for a lot of news stuff. I've talked about it before. I got to do a video. I actually said I'll do a video on Reddit because I will put together a list of all the places and sources and things like that. So, do you still use SolarWinds web protection? Yes, we still do that. Yeah, the SolarWinds thing. Like I said, I'll do a recap video on SolarWinds. There's still more to talk about with it, but there's not. I don't know. I think the interest has waned a little bit on it, and people will be over it and forget it happened in 6 months. Ebooks over physical all day. So I used to read because that's all that was available to me in my early days of learning was physical books. I was happy to have everything on ebook now. I much prefer ebooks. Now I have not got an e-reader, and I have debated about getting an e-ink reader because it seems like it might be a little bit easier to do that, and I like to read in other places, but I actually just read a lot on my phone. But my laptop, my phone, but I've thought about e-ink because I kind of like some of the e-ink ones, but I'm indecisive for how I want to do that. Do you think Plex will ever support AMD GPU? I don't know. I have no idea. The big advantage of IPv6, there's no more NAT. Yeah, technically, yes. Yeah, I actually, my worry is, because I don't think the new Pixel 5 offers a bigger version. This is the Pixel 4 XL. I like the bigger phone, because it's not really a pocket issue with me. Like, it's not, this is, I don't know, plenty big enough. As far as only one person's commented about the TV. I want to do something real quick, though, because I need to stand up. I've been sitting too long, just in general. So, but the TV is actually bigger than it looks. Let me walk over to it. It's actually pretty big TV. It just 70-inch TV looks small because that wall's so big. Also, that's an advantage of having this mic, is the ability to do that, so I can just wander around. Quick sync MVNC and actually do on-demand transcoding. Yeah. Which microphone is it? I don't know what lapel mic this is. It's the one that came with these Sarmonic, SARMONIC transceivers. That's what I am using right now. Does size matter with a TV? Yes. Standing desk was a good purchase. Oh, is the system as cool as it looks? Yes. The system is actually quite loud. I've got a 5.1 Klipsch system, Klipsch all the way around. I have a Pioneer Elite system, THX certified, so it fills the room with a lot of sound. Also, my subwoofer, which also looks small until we zoom in, that's the subwoofer right there. It's actually quite large. So, there's the bass rattle. The neighbors know if I really like. The neighbors know what music I like. How's that? Oh. SG5100 versus R10. Do you care about power efficiency? One nice thing about the 5100 is it's relatively power efficient. So that's probably there. Oh, my wife messaged me. She's about to come out of the room and she wants to hide from the camera. So, all right, honey, I turned the camera. She doesn't want to be in the live stream. She's not as over of being sick as I am. I turned the camera, honey. Do you see it? She's watching a live stream on the phone. Oh. What? Oh. Anyways, distractions. See, this is the hard part about doing it at home. There's always something going on that can distract me. Oh, let's see. Supermicro makes some 1U power 1511 systems. Yeah, Supermicro makes I've thought about reaching out to Supermicro because they sent me a couple of the high-end servers, which were definitely fun to review. I thought about reaching out to them and getting some of the lower-end ones for the same reason, because I thought it might be interesting to review, and people ask about them a lot. So, yeah, I don't have any pets other than kids at home, so... Yes, my wife approves because she watches movies with me, so my wife likes the large speakers as well. As long as we're watching the same movie, because if I am watching a movie and she is not doing that, then she is not going to be happy because, yeah, they're loud and you can hear them all throughout the house. So, let's see. Yes. Oh, there's my wife now complaining on here that she is sick because of me. My wife doesn't go into basements. She won't even know until one day there's just going to be a Pittsburgh potty down there. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple more videos on some low power. I know people loved asking about the Quotoms and the Protectellis, which are similar. I might do some videos on those because I think something that is important to a lot of people outside the US is low power. Something that's important in general, though, is quiet. And I like some of the lower powered and passively cooled devices because I don't want to hear a bunch of noise. And especially if you're building a home lab, there are sometimes restrictions. If you can't just set this up in your basement, you don't want to hear the hum of all that. So, yeah. I don't like the contrast ratio on projectors. That's my problem with projectors. Contrast ratio is it's never as good. And I've been in the nicest home one I went in was a former relative, in-law type relative. Anyways, they had a theater. They spent about $200,000-300,000 building it. It was pretty cool. That was nice. That's when I think you can do a good job with those, with all the proper screens. But I think for in here, I wouldn't want a projector. You either go build like the monster, $200,000 one and do it right, or yeah. Let's see, looking at my new 24 base server, low power. I mean, there's times when you need that. I mean, we still have quite a bit of servers at the shop because we need them, and they're noisy and they're in the back. So that's not really, it's functional things that we have to have at our office. Proper or natural light, pick one. I don't know. Define need. I don't know. I make money with it, so I need it to make money. Yeah, $200,000 home theater. They're pretty impressive when you get one set up. That is for sure. Someone asks, oh, Jordan asks how the basement's coming. I've not done much with it. It's just a big empty space. I spent time organizing it. other than being a big organized empty space, that's still all it is just an organized empty space. I got a few more things I want to, it's kind of like just a project area right now, but I will do, when I do the Wi-Fi video, I'll walk around on there. There's nothing exciting about my basement, so. So, yeah, I don't really have plans on, now, I don't know if there's a future time when I decide to move my studio to my house. We do plan to finish the basement. I don't know if I'll move a studio down there or not, so I can just go downstairs and work type thing. But I don't know. That's kind of an up in the air still. So I've been hesitant to figure out what I'm going to do. And for now, we're just leaving the basement how it is. Oh, yeah, yeah. Pick one. Projector or natural light. Yeah. So I like the natural light. Matter of fact, let me swing the camera a little bit this way. This room has lots of windows. So with all the windows and everything here, you're going to get a lot of natural light in here. So that's definitely, makes it a really bad room for a projector. Sync thing all over the place. Yeah. Switch to Linux. Yep. Yeah, natural lighting. Well, it's not just natural lighting. It's I get to look out in the, I got a kind of a wooded, there's actually a really fat squirrel if you want to see. I think I can switch to the fat squirrel. Anyone want to see a fat squirrel? I've been overfeeding them. Let me get this, and I can point it over here. There he is. That's what I do while I'm here is I feed them. I've been feeding him too much, and he's really overweight now. That's all the part of the backyard. Whoops. There we go. Actually, the camera, I had to unplug the power. Plug that back in. There we go. All right. Did you ever do your home lab video? I've done some home lab videos. I probably need to do some more home lab videos. Yeah. Squirrel feeder. Yes. I like feeding them so much I put a squirrel feeder out there because I sit with my coffee and watch squirrels in the morning. Me and Jay have been talking quite a bit from Learn Linux TV, and we've even debated about doing a podcast about home lab. So I think there's probably some out there, and I know there's like the self-hosted podcast, and that's what we were talking about doing, was doing a couple more ideas around the home lab environment and helping getting people into that. Jay's done some really good videos on like low-powered home lab, and I thought about doing some similar ones. It's just about different. We have different angles on it, so yeah. Yes, I'm running my camera to my laptop with OBS. Yes, that's a very chunky boy squirrel, for sure. Yeah, Home Lab Podcast, self-hosted. So I've heard people I've never listened to the self-hosted one, but other people told me that they don't cover as much as they would like. And I'm like, well, it's a big, broad topic to cover. So we thought that's one of the reasons we thought about doing it. We figured there's more to it. I thought we were going to be, say, you and Jay are going to do a squirrel podcast. Well, I won't rule that out either. It seems unlikely, but I won't rule things out. Things can get weird, and squirrel podcast, maybe. More content on home labs. Yeah. Let's see. Dell Tower for Home Lab comment and question. The updating UniFi controller was easy. Oh, okay. Happy that you got your UniFi controller updated. Craft Computing on YouTube is pretty good. Yes, I like him too. He's got some good stuff on there. Me and him did a video together, and we chat from time to time. He's a little bit more into some of the video cards and gaming stuff, but he's got some really clever videos that he's posted. So I'm definitely a fan of his work. He's definitely great. He would be a good one to join us on the Home Lab podcast. The problem is the more people you put for a podcast, the harder it is to produce the podcast. There is a direct problem with that. Has my business done well through the pandemic of 2020? Yeah, actually we have. Yeah, Craft Computing actually documents his stuff. His background is in corporate IT. He is a talented corporate IT person who actually did document things properly. Yeah. Do a Zoom free-for-all. I've thought about doing more things. I spend a lot of my time posting in the forums, and that's where I'm actually, this is something me and Jay have been talking about. So if you go to learnlinux.tv, I think that's his, yeah, there's his domain. Let's switch to it. Jay's got his new book, and Jay also, he's been redoing his site, and I have actually been redoing my site as well. But right here, he's been posting, what links here? Where's he got it at? Episode notes. And I'm working on doing something maybe a little bit more like this, but it's slightly different. What we're doing is we're recreating a couple dedicated, different than my main website, but similar to what Jay's doing here, where I break down groups of videos on things like virtualization. That way, because the YouTube's playlist system is not great, and organizing it also not easy. So the solution is going to be embed web pages that have all the information in them, including essentially what's going to be tutorials on how to do something and everything surrounding that topic. So when I have a video about virtualization with XCP-ng, I'll have all the different steps for XCP-ng and all the different videos embedded in one page, any notes that may have to go with it, and other resources for reading and links, et cetera, that I put inside of here. And so me and Jay have been talking about it, and he's using Wiki for this, and I might use Wiki, or WordPress. I might go the WordPress route, because the problem with Wiki, and the same problem Jay's having, is when you do everything in Wiki, that's easy for me. I want to, or I'm probably going to need to, partner or hire people, not say partner, hire more people to work on this, and not everyone's going to know Wiki markup language as well. So doing this in Wiki, not going to be as intuitive. So I may just do it all in WordPress and build it out that way, because it's easier to find people who can work in WordPress. But me and Jay have been talking, because we're going to be doing similar things like this. I was really liking the way he did his updated documentation, his updated Learn Linux TV, but he also has some of the problems with Wiki that I have, where it's not as nice. And as you can tell, he doesn't even have it linked back to his main site. So I actually got to go here. It's funny, I'm the one that's showing the plugin, and then I broke it, and then he fixed it. And this is the plugin that auto-generates. I have a different one on my main site, but these are kind of neat, these auto-generating plugins for videos. But yeah, that's some up-and-coming stuff I am going to be working on for my channel. Yeah, he did, Craft Computing did do the custom Windows images ones. That's kind of neat. What new solutions did we implement in 2020? More and more VPNs. Matter of fact, VPNs with more VPNs and then a bigger VPN to replace their VPN that was too slow with all the people remotely connecting. So it's not anything that we didn't know how to do. It's more of these are just the things we did more of in 2020 versus other times, which is not too, yeah. Post-production for a podcast was tough. We did it remotely, both recording tracks, Audacity, and managed later. Yeah, that's part of the problem is is working on the production time and things like that. So that is the challenge of any content creation is figuring out a good workflow for the post-production and making sure you've done it well. Yeah, I seen his video on Windows 10 with the crap taken out. It's amazing how much crap is crammed into Windows 10. What else do we have? TrueNAS SCALE is going to be pretty cool. I am excited about it as well. I'm really looking forward to it. Wiki's easy to learn, but it's also not pretty compared to WordPress. I don't know. Decisions. We did manage to ink out another episode of SMLR. Now, the problem with SMLR is getting everyone to line up with timing. Me and Jay actually can get along pretty great on timing. Tony is the wild card on that because of his, he's someone who has a job that is less flexible than ours. Oh, what else do we have here? How often do you run into the user's home subnet doing overlapping with company subnet causing problems? Too often, I guess you could say. I don't really have, it is a problem. It's definitely an issue. I don't know, I can't really give you I've never metered it out exactly how long, but yeah, it's on networks we set up, not a problem. On new clients, it's sometimes why they became a new client. They can't figure out why some of their users can't log into VPN. Customers, Wi-Fi 6. Customers want stable Wi-Fi. They don't care about fast Wi-Fi. Customers are never asking us for Wi-Fi 6. End users ask us all the time. Techno Tim is indexing with GitHub. I don't want to put it on someone else's platform. I have a big challenge with that with GitHub because you're beholden to them. I want to do something that I host. Yeah, I know you can. I don't know if it's a great idea. Putting it all on GitHub, I mean, it's the same thing. I could put all... There's things I do host on GitHub, but I always make sure I got local copies of all that because if GitHub changes their mind about how they want to do something or changes the format, you are locked into the way GitHub works versus something you host yourself. When you're designing client networks, how do you decide? Scale of network. Do I need it just in the 192? Would that be adequate? Will it fit their growth? I thought about doing a video on that topic. We built one of them where I put it all in spreadsheets and we used a pattern. So you try because of so many locations they had. You got to think about that type of patterning when you're doing it and whether or not there's enough space in how big you want to set the network up. Don't use the default Docker subnets, yeah. Let's see. Yes, locations are a nice way to spread it around for the subnets. Yeah, you just got to come up with a plan that fits and make sure you've got enough on there. How do you boot from network using PXE? I haven't had the need to in forever. I did forever ago videos. I think I have a video I may have taken down because the product is gone. It was some imaging stuff. And then I know the fog project still exists, but we just don't run into much requirements for imaging. We have people that use SAP. I don't use it. Once we make sure their computer works, it goes outside of the problem. Well, technically, UniFi does have layer 3 switches. UniFi does not have any good layer 3 switches that offer routing functionality. But yeah, I wouldn't call them good. Oh, I don't do troubleshooting on BSOD laptops. Do you think a server rack is too much for home? I don't think so, but I mean, I have an office, so I mean, I have a server rack here too, so I can't say, yeah, I don't know. SVN, boy, I haven't seen SVN in a while. Git is much better. GitHub, someone said it's a misconception to think it's remote. No, GitHub is where I didn't feel like putting certain things. Technically, yes, you're usually pushing from a local spot, but yes. No, I don't have any of the Wi-Fi 6, so eventually, I'll get one eventually, but I'm not that enthusiastic about them. Zimbra, I haven't touched in a long time. I've declared the mail server wars over. It's an okay collaboration suite. People seem to like it. I've never used it myself. I tested it back years ago, but pretty much everyone, large companies and small companies alike, have all moved over to using either G Suite or Office 365, and they just have a functionality that is so much higher than you can get on Zimbra that I don't know. It's not bad, but I don't use it. I don't really have any intention of switching to it. Is it still worth managing a self-hosted Zimbra? I guess if you have people willing to pay you for it, sure. That's when it's worth it. If you don't, then yeah. It's been so long since I've even looked at it. Are you comfortable with Ubiquiti's direction in the SMB setting? Sure, I guess. If you're referring to specifically like using them in their small business markets, yes, it works good. Looking forward to the Cisco rant video. Me too. Yes, I'm not thrilled about those Ciscos. So, well, if you stopped using ZFS over Ceph, what are you storing Ceph on? Ceph doesn't natively write to disk, so what are you using? You can build Ceph on top of ZFS, for example. You can build Ceph on top of ext4. It really comes down to how you want your storage and what your storage needs are in blah, blah, blah. Ceph is not a file system that's natively writing to the disk. Yeah, ZFS is very different. Ceph versus Gluster, whichever one makes you happy. I answer that question a lot because a lot of people compare things that are very similar to each other, or sometimes not at all similar. That's a different topic again. And I don't know, it comes down to the use case. And for example, sometimes you have a tool where it only has the backend support for Gluster. So I don't care how much more you may like Ceph, if the tool you're using or the application you're using does not have that as a backend support, you don't really get a choice in the matter at that point. Yes, the answer is always it depends. That's the problem with technology, is you have to figure out what it is the goal. I always ask people what their goal is, because people started asking, what cert should I get, Tom? Like, people without any other context ask me that question. What certification should I get? I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, if you don't have a goal first, I can't send you off in a direction. And then if you have zero passion about technology, what cert do you want to get doesn't help at all, because if you're not passionate about anything in tech, maybe you shouldn't be in tech. Figure out what your passion is first and kind of work your way towards it. And if you don't know, try lots of things, because that's a different challenge. If you don't know it all, just try everything until something goes, hey, this seems like it's more fun. No, we never push Proxmox at all. Now, we've helped people who've had Proxmox, but I never push people towards Proxmox. I have had a couple of people that had some very large systems that they migrated away from Proxmox. They didn't feel Proxmox scaled as well as XCP and G, and they've done some migration. So I've only got one customer that consulted with me on that, and they did the migration. They just basically, they had their problems with Proxmox. I had no comment on the problems because they were stuff that they had paid for support with Proxmox that couldn't be solved. And they don't seem to have those problems with XCP and G. They contacted me to walk them through the XCP and G. Now, that is not me saying that one's better than the other, but for this particular customer and these large-scale, high-availability servers, Proxmox was not the solution they were looking for. XCP and G made them happier for their use case. So it's whichever one you want to use. If you like Proxmox better, you use it. It's not a bad system. I like XCP and G, so that's what we push towards customers if they're asking. Most of the time, they're never asking us. They want a virtualization server. So we put in a virtualization server. Well, they don't even want a virtualization server. They just want a server that works, that's easy and reliable, and they don't even care. So we put in XCP and G because that's it. It's going to get uglier the more you talk about Ceph. Maybe. GitLab. Yeah, there's GitLab as well. TrueNAS Enterprise that don't come with... are features of the TrueNAS Enterprise that don't come with Core. There is a difference. They have a comparison matrix on their site for what the difference is between TrueNAS Core and TrueNAS Enterprise. It's really minor. It's like stuff that I don't think it's a big deal, but yeah. Yeah, IX Systems is really talented and how they do things. They got a really smart team there. Working with them as a partner, so to speak, because we're also a reseller for IX Systems of their hardware directly, because they only do channel partner programs. Yes, they are good to work with. No, yes. I say no, yes, when you ask the question of, can you have a mixed pool of AMD and Intel systems? You can't live migrate between AMD and Intel systems. You can migrate, you can't live migrate. So if you build a pool of random hardware, one of them's an AMD Ryzen server, another one's an Intel Xeon server, and you want to migrate them, they're not going to live migrate between the different architecture types, but you can stop that particular VM and migrate it over to the other system and fire it up with another processor. Less than ideal, but does work. Let's see. Do you recommend FreeNAS for home storage? Sure, I have a free NAS for home storage. I don't see why you shouldn't. Yeah, TrueNAS itself, the TrueNAS core is open source. The add-ons they have are support add-ons that you can buy licenses for. It's mostly support stuff. There's one thing in there that's not support. I forget what it was. There's one extra thing they have, but you get like 99% of the free NAS, TrueNAS stuff for free. It's hard to find the compatibility NICs for XCP-ng. Some issues with Whitebox ESXi server and had to get an Intel NIC. Intel NICs are going to be your happier NICs. That's just like the was it the X5 2010 gig NICs? They're just very compatible. I don't know of a good open source backup program. I use XCP-ng to back up my stuff, and then I use SyncThing to back up my files. Yeah, you have to, like someone said, you can shut down and migrate. So free PBX is often what we recommend to our clients for phone systems. Yes, Happy NIC. Just a picture of one of those Intel NICs. Yeah, some people like Veeam. Veeam's not open source, and I don't know what the limitations are on Veeam. It's like they have a free version, but then there's certain functions you don't get until you pay. I don't know where those limitations lie because I don't use it. Happy New Year. Awesome. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well. First line, so is there certifications for first line support? I guess it depends what kind of support you're doing. Desktop support? Probably not. Do I ever think about going to work for someone else? I'm probably too broken to work for someone else. I've been working for myself for 17 years. I don't know if I'd work for a company that would hire a guy like me. That was always my go-to line. I don't know. It would have to be someone who doesn't care that I do what I want. So probably that won't work. So probably not. Happy New Year from India. Woohoo! Recommended material for free PBX learning? Chris's videos are good. There's probably a book on it. I read a lot of the documentation. Someone's reading my mind. Not even maybe. Probably. Ah. How's that Windows server? It works. We had to migrate to Screen Connect Windows, but whatever, it works. Multi-cloud, I guess, if we need to. I guess it really depends on the question. That's what it all comes down to. What's the question? You are backup. It's been a while since I've tried. There's a handful of different backup utilities out there. I've not tested them. None of them I found commercially viable or is reliable. We use, like for our business stuff, we're using the SolarWinds stack. Some MSP 360, mostly the SolarWinds backups we sell. So that is that's probably my favorite backup. But that's business related. We're charging for it. We don't mind paying for the product. It's expensive. It's not cheap. And it's not for end users. Do you think Azure and AWS can get someone vendor locked in? Anyone can get you vendor locked in. If you get dependent on their service, sure. How often does SyncThing run? I have it watching all my files in real time, so it runs constantly. Anytime I change a file here, it is replicated to all the different backup locations that it needs to be replicated to. SyncThing is my go-to for any of my documents that I need backed up. And not just documents, my any of like the UniFi backups would be an easy example. So UniFi has a script, I think it's every 30 minutes. It's every hour, every 30 minutes that it generates a new backup file. I think it's 30 minutes. And SyncThing actually sits on that particular system and synchronizes the files. So that way they are getting backed up constantly. Every time it generates a new backup file, and then I keep 30 days worth of them. So, and then you can change your retention settings in SyncThing. But that's what I don't worry about backing up my servers every day in terms of like the whole virtual machine because there's not much changing. The data that comes out of the virtual machines, like the database changes that come out of them, that needs to be backed up. So SyncThing is a great way to facilitate the data changes at a very rapid schedule to be synchronized offsite. Or, I haven't gone to this model. I mean, eventually I guess I could, is you can, because all my databases are in MySQL, you can set up, or MariaDB, you can set up database replication as well that happens. So every time there's a write to the database, you say, hey, synchronize to this other database that's off-site. But for the most part, just doing a SQL dump and synchronize with SyncThing has been really adequate. Preferred beer, IPAs. RAID is resilience, not a backup. For those wondering, RAID is not a backup, but RAID is resilience that it says, drives die and things like that. Let's get back to the real questions. Absolutely. What else? 250 watching, 63 likes. Bash the like button. Yes, somewhere on the back of this laptop it says bash the like button. So do that. I gotta be careful with this camera. I'm gonna drop it if I'm not careful. So please bash that like button. It's helpful for the YouTube algorithm. Let's see, what do we have here? SyncThing for syncing, workplace laptop, real-time data backup. Yeah, I mean, matter of fact, I have like occasionally you'll see me doing videos where I have my bash scripts. And when I'm doing my bash scripts, there's a bash scripts folder. As I edit those, I change things dynamically. I have them synchronized all the times. And, that way, as soon as I turn my laptop on and it syncs up again, it has the latest ones from my desktop and each other place that has it. It's actually how me and some of the staff, we have a couple critical business document things. We change things in there, and now any of my staff have access to that folder that we drop a file in real time, no matter where they're at. So do you have any recommendations on cloud backup for home users? Not really. I don't test enough of that to really know what's good. Like I said, SyncThing's my go-to, but I don't do full image backups at home at all. We've actually helped a lot of home users and small offices use the Synology backup tool. I got to admit, it's really nice. And that's one of my favorite features of Synology is the fact that you can do your image backup and then you can back up your Synology to the cloud. So now you've got the 3-2-1 backup. Yeah, SyncThing definitely has conflicts if multiple users try to edit the same document. But any documents like that, those type of documents, we use Google Drive for. We're a G Suite user, so our G Suite is where we collaborate on all of our business documents. It's actually non-business documents and some of the money documents that are the only things that synchronizes. There's actually very, very few files. We don't have a lot of stuff that's not just put in G Suite. G Suite's where the majority of our work does. Yeah, G Suite is, as much as people will give me crap about using G Suite, the problem is from a business use case, it's the easiest way when we have to collaborate with an outside contractor, with the team, especially when part of my team is remote, or even other remote contractors that we have. We just spin up a document real quick, share it, put a project outline, throw it in a Google Doc, and each person starts making comments. I mentioned earlier in a video a very large scale sale, well, about $500,000 worth of storage servers. How did that come to be? Really simple. We shared a G Suite document with the studio people and went back and forth and put comments in there until we rattled out what this person needed on the project outline, and we added our notes because they started with some requests, and G Suite just becomes a really easy way to collaborate with this. People overthink things and look for software solutions and complex solutions. And I'm like, yeah, we just grabbed a G Suite document and shared it and did a $500,000 sale. Like, people are so overthinking and trying to find the perfect software. And I'm like, I don't know, this is like a series of requests for what servers are needed and what they're going to do. And we added our comments and they bought our time to consult. That's where this initial angst of this was by time, by consulting, put projects together, come up with ideas. Oh, by the way, the idea turned out to be, we need more servers. We need these servers to synchronize between these 3 locations we have for our studio across the US, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of fun. And it's all just, like I said, replicate offsite. Yes, that's what a lot of that ends up being. Lots of offsite replication. For full image, I have Clonezilla. Clonezilla is pretty cool for full image backup too. I did a video on Clonezilla to cover how we migrate things. Collaborating is not as good on Office 365 as it is on G Suite. Microsoft's really playing catch up to the way it works. I've been a G Suite user since the earliest days. I've been using the Google collaborative cloud system for 12 years, maybe. Whenever they came out with that, I was an early beta user of that. But I've been using it for so long, we're very good at it. And matter of fact, what we find interesting is so many, like this studio, uses G Suite. So many of these large companies all use G Suite. You look at my friends over at Huntress Labs, large cybersecurity company, G Suite. All these tech companies we deal with, so many of them use G Suite. So we're actually in very good company when we say we use G Suite. When we deal with our standard law offices and dental offices and our normal clientele on the MSP side, Office 365 all day. Trucking companies, Office 365, all these other businesses that we service. When we deal with the higher end tech companies, they seem to use G Suite quite a bit. Oh, about Nextcloud putting things behind a paywall. Yeah. Yeah, I don't got time to maintain the security issues with Nextcloud or anything else. So yeah, there's some big companies that use G Suite. You can, like someone said, 120,000 people on it. Yeah. Do I see Synology as a provider of enterprise equipment? Yeah, they do a good mid-level. Now, the scalability of Synology does not match that of TrueNAS, but for a pretty good mid-level device, I'm gonna say Synology, some of the rack mount stuff, I know people that have been using it for years as an iSCSI target, and they've been really happy with it. So yeah, I really do think it makes a solid mid-level, put it in your rack, use it as an iSCSI target. It's reliable. They make a pretty reputable piece of hardware. If you go, I need this incredible level of performance, then we start talking TrueNAS, because you can't match the ZFS performance with Synology. Sorry. That's not an OLED TV, and yes, those are Klipsch speakers. I think I can probably... There's it. Oh, you can almost read it. It says Klipsch. It's easier if I do this. Where's it? Oh, you can almost see the Klipsch on it. It's having trouble focusing now. There we go. Yeah, I guess you can see it says Klipsch. They're all Klipsch speakers, though. The only thing that's not Klipsch is the subwoofer over here is SolarWinds Vega. Focus, focus. That's not focusing. Come on, manual focus. There we go. That's by SolarWinds Vega. There we go. Back to reality over here. Whoops. Knocked the camera over. QNAP. I never used any of the QNAP. My friends in tech who have used it says it's Synology without the support. That's all I know about them. They're not terrible, but they're not. They don't seem to have the same quality of Synology. They're cheaper Synologies, but I don't know if they're cheaper. Yeah, young staff definitely like G Suite over Office 365 for sure. Knock the camera. There we go. Is it level now? Maybe. I don't know. I'll quit messing with it. Yeah, younger companies, newer companies especially, are always G Suite. ButterFS has developed a lot. ButterFS is so inferior to ZFS. I don't know if those are fighting words to some people, but ButterFS is not bad, but ZFS is next level even compared to ButterFS. Camera on crack, probably. QNAP software's been bad, according to someone here. Said Vincent. All right. Oh. I mean, it kind of depends on, do you need all the stuff? Yes, the SolarWinds Vegas are definitely, they're loud. Yeah, the Synology, just the overall support and everything is, it's like a well-rounded product that has support. Now, roll back a few years, before I was really a Synology fan, but I don't think they were as good at support as they are now. At least that's what I've been told by people. I don't have objective information, but a few of my friends that use Synology said, yeah, their support was mediocre before, but they've really stepped it up in the last couple of years. Yeah. Yeah, ZFS at least doesn't nuke your RAID 5 and 6 pools. ZFS is very interesting. Wendell did a great dive into just how complex ZFS is, and it's just interesting because it is a file system that has a lot of awareness to it, because it's aware of the drives themselves in such a way that makes it so much more efficient than other file systems. So it's working at the drive level, but it also has a lot of understanding of the files you're storing on it, its ability to present block devices, and the ZFS 2.0 and all the different enhanced features that you get, such as the metadata storage, the I can't remember the whole list, but the fusion pools that they offer now, it's made it that much better. It's just so much cutting edge innovation you see with ZFS that you don't get on other file systems. Nothing beats Bose. There's a few videos that tell you why Bose is kind of overrated. Now, not the original Bose, but the later stuff Bose made is a little overrated. But then you get into some of the audiophile arguments and they're dumb. Which, by the way, the funniest thing is the audiophiles who will buy gold-plated RJ45 cables find that article and laugh. Anyone who works in networking will laugh. That audiophile people, that's a market. They will just buy junk. Well, it's not necessarily junk. They will buy things that are overpriced because they think it sounds better. There is such a diminishing returns over that. So, what what time is it for you, Tom? Right now it is 1:48 p.m. No highs, no lows, must be Bose. We'll go with that. Yeah. Bose generally have, what was it, the Bose Wave thing? They had an extra bassiness to it, so people thought it was a lot better than it was. And it's not bad. I mean, it's a decent audio quality, but I don't think for the price. But like I said, I'm getting off topic, and I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff. B&W makes some nice speakers, too. Boy, you can go down the rabbit hole of speakers. So I used to be a little bit more of an audio person than I am now. I've settled back to not being crazy, but yes, I had like Macintosh things and some other high-end stuff. So that's a whole different topic. Yes, the ability to add drives quickly and not rebuild is nice, which you get with Unraid and Synology, but you don't get all the features of ZFS. So you're making trade-offs. ZFS and managing massive amounts of data, you can't beat. And it's one of the problems you run into is like bit rot. ZFS does not suffer from that problem. Therefore, it's one of the popular things. Matter of fact, one of the anger problems with this, I mean, like they are very angry about this. The studio lost footage over some bit rot, and they had already spent $750,000 on their previous vendor who claimed there was no bit rot, and I will leave that vendor unnamed because I'm not going to tarnish it, but it's some really high-end stuff they got into, and they're like, yeah, we're moving everything to IX systems. Matter of fact, what saved them was the fact that they had home-built TrueNASs for their studio. Now they're ready to go for the high-end one. Yeah, the Macintosh stuff is really nice. Let's see. My friend Sean still reviews some really high-end audio. At any given moment, there's like $50,000 worth of stereo stuff set up in one of his Facebook or on Instagram. I can probably find his Instagram. You guys will recognize some of the high-end audio he posts. I think that's his. I think I know his Instagram. Here's some, people may recognize some of this. So yeah, what does he have in this one? He's just got some neat, anytime he posts stuff, I mean, he's got the cool isolated record player and everything else. As far as you know, this is all public. These speakers were interesting because he assembled them. Who makes these ones? These are from Pure Audio Duet 15s. Are they expensive? Probably. I don't know. They're strange though. The way they set up, I don't know, they're kind of neat. I can certainly get off topic on some of the audio stuff. So yeah, these are, which ones did he have here? So they're about 3,000 for these, it looks like. He's got some neat stuff. Like I said, it's definitely cool. I don't mind slight distractions in audio stuff. You can use this analogy without creating VLANs. It's safe. Let's see, what else do we have here? Can you tell us how much YouTubers are getting paid to peddle the UDM Pro? I would guess nothing. They send them to people for free. UniFi is weird, and to my knowledge, at least they've never offered it to me, and that I know of to Willie or to Chris. They've never offered to pay us for a review. So if someone's getting paid to review these, I'm unaware of it, so I don't know. They just offers free product. Like, they just mailed me the UDM Pro, but it didn't come with any strings attached. It didn't come with any money in an envelope. Would have been nice. So I've actually complained about the UDM quite a bit. You get distracted by a lot of bike stuff. Yeah, bike stuff, that'll distract me too. Bike stuff, speakers. I like all kinds of, I like other stuff outside of tech, a couple things. What's powering the Klipsch? A Pioneer Elite system. A THX VSX 83. I don't know. The one I bought on sale. It's actually a pretty good system. I'm happy with it. I know a few people running the UDM that are happy, but they also don't have any basic, they just have the basic needs. So yeah, you hate that you need an account to install the hardware. That is something that bothers me a lot. I do not like the fact that you have to register just to get that thing set up. That is, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. For basic home users that go, I just want it to turn on and not do anything, it's probably adequate for that, but I know they've had some bugs with it. So there's that. I am going to wind this down soon. It's about 2 o'clock right now. I'll wind this. Oh, there's a child. Hey, child.
Hi.
You aren't coming in the video?
Oh, hey. There you go. Hi.
There. I got a lapel mic, so when you're that far away, you can't be heard.
Ah.
He woke up.
No, I've been awake. I've just been in my room watching TikTok.
Oh, okay. Just been on TikTok, so. But I am winding this down soon. Is there any final questions for the good of the class before we get completely off topic here? I'll probably go, let's say, until 2:10. So that gives us 15 more minutes. Yeah, Cat. Yeah, his head just kind of.
It's my amazing bed hair.
Yeah, your amazingly bad hair. What's in store today? A day filled with video games?
Maybe.
You're going to grow your hair out like mine?
Sure.
Grow long hair. He's in quarantine with me.
Yeah. Great.
That's great. Quarantine with Dad. How's Cyberpunk 2077? Someone asked.
It's a mess. Just gonna wait till the game fixes itself, then I'm gonna play it.
Fair enough.
Played it for a little bit, countered many glitches. It was.
The new games are glitchy. Working with new router manufacturer other than pfSense. Am I working with them? It's the same as I've been working with. It's a lot of pfSense and Untangle. Those are my two go-to solutions. There's bananas and there's smoothies in the fridge.
I like smoothies.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's not really anything new. None of them have really impressed me. And also, when it comes to business, you change very slow and carefully when it comes to your router situation. You don't want to just start doing a different router because one, I have a lot of deployments, a whole lot of them. And two, if there's not a compelling reason to switch, like the solutions we have aren't inadequate. They are working quite well. So
Cyberpunk 2077, don't ask, don't tell.
yeah. Don't ask, don't tell. The FortiGate, I mean, we see them all the time. FortiGate is really, really popular. I know a lot of people that use them. I'm kind of indifferent to them. I mean, I've ranted about their poor coding practices a couple times and their poor security problems. But I mean, they're still a popular firewall. Yes, I always push the kid towards smoothies and something better. Bananas, smoothies. Because if you don't, you will you'll end up he'll just eating junk food if I don't point him towards something better. But now that we're all locked in here together and we're quarantined, we just don't buy the junk food. And he'll either starve or eat smoothies.
Starve.
Yeah.
Can we get a pog in the chat?
You want a pog?
Yeah.
We can do that.
Poggers.
What is poggers?
Poggers.
Oh, my son did that.
Poggers.
Oh, yep. Now everyone's saying it. You did. You did a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You did a thing, Marcus.
I did.
Look, everyone's typing it now.
Poggers.
What do I think about Intel NUC? I don't use any Intel NUC. If they make you happy, use them. Monitoring recommendations for a home lab. What do you want to monitor? Zabbix is cool. It's a cool thing to learn. Zabbix does have a learning curve, but it's a pretty, you know, if you want to monitor a bunch of things with it, it's cool for that. I guess. It comes down to we have to start with a goal. Is it just knowing if things are turned on or off? You could set up just a ping system for that too. NUC print server. Sure. The 2100 will do 400. The 3100 will do more. So the reason to get a Netgate 3100 would be because you plan to go faster later. But if you don't plan to go faster later, or you don't think that will ever happen, then you can stick with the 2100. But the 2100 caps out sooner. Okay. Getting rid of Cisco Meraki. Good luck. It doesn't monitor much with, I mean, we monitor our clients just to see that their systems are on, and it gives you some data for how much bandwidth was used, but it's mostly just a notice system to say if things are up and running. Paying for internet. Where do I go to set up a syslog server for UniFi? The Graylog is one of them. So you can use Graylog for syslogs and filter it in. That's an option. If you want to just set up R syslog, you can easily Google how to do that, and you just set up an R syslog to receive log data. Limits of an SG7100. I don't know where the upper limit is. I know I have a client with a few thousand people on it that works fine. Paper trail for logging. Yeah, there's that too. Paper trail, But our syslog is one of the easiest things to do, but then you have to parse all those logs. The only thing our syslog does is collect them. It doesn't do any type of parsing for any of them. Endpoint security is provided via Sentinel-1 and Huntress. Sentinel-1 and Huntress are still my go-to for all the security monitoring stuff. For someone who's probably going to wonder, I think I have. Nope, I have it off. I had a demo of Graylog I was playing with. I was debating about doing a video on it, and then I got aggravated with it. But Graylog, like I said, is pretty... I just pulled up their website. You can download... their installer works great. Well, their install instructions, I should say. Let me switch this to that. Graylog, centralized log management. They have an open source solution, enterprise features. You can actually get the enterprise one if you're only ingesting 5 gigs a day in logs. They got video, tech talk, technical support, documentation. Their documentation seemed pretty good. I read through the majority of it. Like I said, I may do a video on it. I don't know how in depth I'll get because there's still things that, I don't know. It's definitely good in terms of logging. It just has some complexities of how to get certain things configured on it. But it is open source. And they do have videos on...
Welcome, everybody. But many times because I haven't created it.
See if they show some of... But you can go on their site. They have all kinds of... some of the tutorials and walking through. You notice how it didn't show a bunch of dashboards? Yes. It's all about ingestion of logs, parsings of logs, and creating simple things. So for functionally the way I like it, yes. There's ways you can tie Grafana in, which is what gets people excited because it's a great screenshot to post over on Reddit Home Lab. But it does have support for some dashboards for things. So you can build some statistical analysis in here. But it does do a nice job of just data correlation. That much it's got figured out pretty well. So that's Graylog. You get it from graylog.org. The open source version is actually really good as far as features. Yes, SolarWinds web protection in addition to Sentinel-1 protection. Yes. Looking to update Plex servers to a NUC. Okay. Complexities, only 100 pages of docs. 100 pages is nothing. Thousands of pages. There you go. Do you want to set a TrueNAS cache test? Yes, do all the things with the TrueNAS. You're not asking a question. You're like, should you? Sure, but I don't know your use case, so I'm just going to say yes. It's the same thing when someone just sent us a message, we need more storage. How much? A lot. It was the reply, and I'm like, okay. I suggested him a $100,000 server to start, and he said, well, that's not my budget. I'm like, well, you got to tell me what your goal is before. If not, I'll just recommend the biggest and baddest thing. Without knowing the goal. Tax code does change quite a bit. Update on the Sangoma hack? No, there's not any new information on it. Why would I make a video on UniFi Polar? I don't understand why. I've seen it and I don't know why people like it. Antivirus for servers? Yes. The different, I love that this definition of huge is different than other people's definition. Yes, that's a problem sometimes. Thunderbolt, yeah. I don't know. So a NUC server seems suited to given only maybe one drive. Yeah, you'd have to have some external storage for a NUC. That's, yes. I still use my TrueNAS for Plex, and someone will complain it doesn't support good transcoding. I'm like, I don't use that feature, so it doesn't matter to me. Is there a decent tool to see if TrueNAS caching is working? Just look at the cache. I've seen the Grafana dashboards, but there's not information on there that I need. Like, you can make pretty information, but it doesn't lead to any actionable intelligence. It just makes a great screenshot in Reddit our home lab. Hey, thank you, Russ. So it says, thanks for all the content and the XCP-ng server that you're installing. Good luck with your XCP-ng server, Russ. That's awesome. TrueNAS Score does support hardware transcode. I thought it didn't support transcoding in the GPU. Maybe I'm wrong. So people asked me about it, and last time I Googled it, it didn't. So, oh, CEOs love pew pew charts too. There's not a management meeting complete with cybersecurity without a pew pew chart going. I mean, it doesn't really help you any. It just you know, but it looks great. Pew pew charts are exciting. There's times when you use graphs to create actionable intelligence data, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything so compelling about it that made me go, that's something I need. Not with the UniFi ones. As far as the cache usage, kind of on the TrueNAS, just TrueNAS reporting will tell you that, or you can go to the command line and it would tell you the cache hits. So that's mostly where, I mean, I just head over to the UniFi dashboard or TrueNAS dashboard, and it has that information. As a matter of fact, if we wanted to know how much caching is being properly done with Tom's computer, here, let's look. Switch to that screen. So ZFS cache, we've got 38 gigs worth of cache on there. So my head's probably a little bit in the way. Can I move that? There we go. So you can see the pretty chart here, which the chart doesn't give you the intelligence data that the system does. Oh, yeah. So you got the 38 gigs of caching. Then you can go to reports if you want. So we go over here to reporting. And then we'll go over here to ZFS. And you can see the ARC size, ARC hit ratios. So there's your demand data, hit data. And it's going to vary with what your load is, et cetera, and what you're using it for. So that's how you can determine that. And we only have ARC. We don't have the layer, the L2. I think I've talked about that in a few other videos. Lots of networking is set it and forget it. If you set it up right, yes. I love the iX Mini. The iX Mini has been great. Yeah, I mean, you get the time scale with the Grafana, but I don't look at that either. I don't look at it in UniFi, and I don't need, it's not something that comes up when we're doing these Wi-Fi deployments. Usually it's only when there's a problem that people contact us. For the most part, it's kind of a set it and forget it. I don't go and look at a bunch of graphs all the time. I mean, if you want to look at number of authentications over time to see if you're going to need to add more density in an area, now you're getting something, but I don't know if it would be able to really tell me that. And you can do that with statistics. Well, everyone wishes TrueNAS SCALE was less alpha and more production, especially the people working on the project. We're all excited waiting for it to come out. No, Errata. Now, networking is kind of set it and forget it if you set it up right. Cybersecurity is absolutely not set it and forget it. Cybersecurity is constantly updating and changing. Who's my go-to provider when Let's Encrypt is an option? I haven't run into where Let's Encrypt is not an option. But I'm trying to remember. We did one time have to buy a cert from somewhere, but usually the vendor, if Let's Encrypt doesn't work, it's because the vendor told us they only work with certain company. Therefore, it's whatever the vendor says. So Let's Encrypt is still my go-to. Let's see. UAP dropping packets. Not sure why. Ping it. Look for hardware problems. Look for network problems. Scale and Core are going to be the same. The difference is going to be one runs on Linux. The reason people are excited about TrueNAS Scale has everything to do with the fact that it runs on Linux. It's really as simple as that. It's still the same. They modularized the middleware that operates TrueNAS, so now they can change out the operating system. But as the fact that it's still in alpha will tell you, it's not quite as simple as it sounds. Oh, there's a bug. The reason it says TrueNAS, when you go to update TrueNAS right now, it says something along the lines of not stable. That's actually a bug. Someone typed it wrong. So sorry. Let me see if it still says it. If you go to your update setting, there was a notice about this, and let me see if I can make it pull up or not. As I already updated to it, so I don't know if it still says it. No, it doesn't say it anymore. Or does it? Yeah, it doesn't say it anymore on here. But there's a bug report about when you do the update. It says that it's not ready for production. Someone completely just ticked the wrong box on the update. So it is ready for production. It is in full release. Oh, let's see. Happy New Year, Norway. Awesome. Well, I am going to wander off here like I said I would. Thank you for joining me. ZFS on Linux. Awesome stuff. Interesting. Better container support. Well, it's going to be Linux containers. So it's not about better container support. They're going to be Linux containers, which are more popular. But anyways, thank you everyone for joining. It was awesome having all of you here, joining me at my house. I will see you all next year. I'll be probably doing one more video in quarantine, and I may produce some more content here at my house because I'm on quarantine until a few more days. So I guess I have to stay here. ZFS, yes, for those of you who are outside the US who would call it that. 2020 won't be missed. What does 2021 hold? Oh, I know. Bash that like button before you all wander off. What else do we have? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Love seeing all this stuff. Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you again for joining me. What a full 2 hours again. Wow. That's quite a bit. Well, if I wait one more minute, I'll have gone 2 hours, but close enough. We're going to call it close enough. I actually have a couple things I have to go do, but none of them involve leaving the house. They all involve being here. I need to go get something for my wife. But I'm in the US, we still call it ZFS because that's how I first heard it. Yeah, you know, that's a lot to it. You hear something in tech, it gets stuck in your head sometimes forever, even if it was wrong. I said Debian for a long time, even though it's Debian, and I still say it once in a while because I heard it that way when I first learned it, and then I never looked back. All right, and thanks. Oh, I should just wait 30 seconds because then it'll actually be 2 hours. It's so close. I think I can. We're 15. This would be like that countdown. Yeah, feed the kid bananas. Yep, 30 seconds. 10, well, less than that. For me right now in real time, I'm looking over here. Okay, now I'm officially done 2 hours. First the squirrel, now the kid. Kenya, all right. Yes, Deborah and Ian, so it's Debian, yes. Times New Year's countdown is just a 2 hour countdown. It's not that exciting. All right, and thanks.